Hello, I'm the Baron of Beanies, and welcome to another episode of Archive Binge. So, after taking several anger management classes, I decided that I should probably stay away from games like that for a while. Instead, I want to show you a game from the tail end of a golden era, when LucasArts made more than just crappy Star Wars games. The name of which I am guessing you already figured out from the title of the video. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Armed and Dangerous. Released in 2003 and developed... What? It was 8 years ago. It counts. Hey, this is my time to speak. You get out. But you get way more time than me. No buts. Out. Fine. Douche. What? Nothing, sir. That's more like it. Aw, damn it. Talked to that moron for so long, the footage got way ahead of me. Hang on. Now, where did I put that remote? Whoop! Sorry, Schmooples. Why is that even here? I just realized something. I paused that before I got up, didn't I? Released in 2003 and developed by Planet Moon Studios, who also created Giant Citizen Kabuto, Armed and Dangerous is a third-person shooter about the true exploits of the Robin Hood-esque group, the Lionhearts, and their quest to stop evil Shere Khan, King Forge. The Lionhearts consist of Rexus, the smelly old blind steer, Jonesy, a mole with a love of explosives and may or may not have a promiscuous mother, Q. Wrong Q. This one is a robot obsessed with tea. Finally, we have Roman, the leader, player character, and straight man to the other's antics. Together, they must find the Book of Rule, currently known as the Book of Basket Weaving, the only thing in the world that can stop Forge's reign. The game was warmly received, with the humor praised as one of its strongest points, but like the game that shan't be named, it faded into obscurity quickly. So does this game deserve to be forgotten? Voice over me will tell you in a minute, but first I'd like to say something. Almost everything stated about the characters and the plot is told to you either in the intro video or the first level. I didn't have to read through 30 pages in a datapad I find halfway through the game. Okay, voice over me, hit it. So, since I already mentioned it, I guess I should start with the humor. Is it any good? Yes. Good sweet corn Zeus. Yes. This game is hilarious.
You listen to me, man. I know this is hard for you, but we've got to stick together. You hear me? It's okay to weep for all the plants we've loved and lost.
I'm not.
But weep today and fight tomorrow. This is a war we're going to win. Death to the Saladators. Ha-ha! Death to the Saladators!
After playing so many dead serious shooters in the past few years, I cannot even begin to describe how good it feels to go back and play one with a sense of humor again. Even the enemy's comments when they're killed are funny. I can't say much else about the humor without major spoilers, and he's not here today. They can't all be gold! Now that my gushing about the humor is done, you probably want to know about the story itself. Actually, the story is pretty decent for a comedy. Unfortunately, it can't be called good either. For starters, it's way too short, clocking in at about 8 hours. Normally this would be a just acceptable length for me, but the pacing speeds up to Mach 3 levels, making you feel like there was supposed to be so much more, but it was cut because LucasArts wanted to rush it out or something. The cutscenes also feel disjointed from the gameplay. A good example being early in the game when you arrive at a town and the Lionhearts are hailed as saviors by our little girl, get laughed at by the locals for it, and ending with Jonesy punching a prophet dressed as Elvis into a bunch of boxes. In the next level, you are rescuing a bunch of kidnapped peasants from the king's army, with the only explanation being that the peasants are from the village you were just at. It would have been nice if they had included a scene where I was told about them being kidnapped first. These problems really are too bad, because the setting, a strange hybrid of high fantasy, steampunk, and modern tech, is quite interesting, and I wish more had been done with it. Maybe even just another game set in it. Please? The graphics are kind of iffy even for 2003. Muddy textures and an almost barren feel to the landscape, even in major cities. And what the hell is that? I think you need to see a doctor, Roman. Ugh. Anyways, To prove my first 2 points, I have some screenshots from some other notable releases the same year. And while I realize that Armed and Dangerous has more enemies on screen at once than most of these games, here's some screens of Giants, which has the same if not more. See? In 2000 they made a game with graphics that wouldn't start feeling outdated until 3 years later, and that was their first game. So you can't tell me they didn't have it in them to make improvements for this one. I also ran into some various technical issues here and there, like Roman's, why is it always Roman, running, which I'm sure you noticed. His torso has to be perfectly positioned for him to run normally, otherwise he does this weird strafe even when he's running forward. There were a few times where the enemies would just get stuck in one spot and wouldn't move until I shot them. But all these complaints are drowned out by just how damn fun this is to play. The gameplay is frantic and challenging, though occasionally cheap. The levels are nice and varied, going from subarctic conditions to a rain-drenched coastline. And the weapons are creative, my personal favorite being the land shark launcher, which sends a shark swimming under the ground and over to the enemy. However, you will probably spend most of the game with the machine gun and its unbelievable usefulness. There are also some turret sections scattered throughout the game where you must defend a wall from the king's forces. And for once, having to defend something in a game like this isn't annoying as hell. It's weird, even though I had to play this game twice for this review, and I should be complaining about how the game got repetitive or some such, I never felt that, and I had a great deal of fun on both playthroughs. Though, there are still some problems with the gameplay. Specifically, the enemy AI tends to be rather stupid, and sometimes will just stand there and shoot instead of, say, rolling out of the way. And despite the seemingly open environments, the levels are littered with invisible walls, and on some levels there isn't even more than one path. The biggest issue, however, and the one I'm sure will turn plenty of people off from getting this, there is no multiplayer in the PC version, which coincidentally is the one I'm reviewing, and is the only version you can easily get for cheap. But there is multiplayer in the Xbox version, and I don't get why they did this. It kills the replayability. Summary time. While it lacks in replayability, and it only clocks in at about 8 hours, I'll be damned if I didn't have fun for those 8 hours. I would recommend Armed and Dangerous to anyone who wants a change of pace from the slog of samey, dead-serious shooters the industry has been churning out lately. You can buy it on Steam for $5 American, or if you really want to track down the Xbox version, I would suggest eBay or Amazon. Well, that was rather long-winded. Until next time, I'm the Baron of Beanies, and you have just been on an archive binge. That was terrible! How did I ever let you talk me into this?
It was your idea.
The hell it was!
I'll be home with a book of rules, so you save the last pine for me. Oh, save the last pine for me, boys. Save the last pine for me. I'll be home with a book of rules, so you save the last pine. Oh, save the last pine.